Welcome back to Racing Basics with Rick Mast. We're live, a race car driver, cup driver extraordinaire, our good friend Rick Mast. I'm Buzz Cutler. This is where we ask Rick to explain basic NASCAR concepts, basic racing concepts to us. And talk to me like I'm a 3-year-old, Rick. I always thought casters were those rolly things you put under chairs.
Yes.
So what is caster when we're talking about a race car?
It's a front end setting. It's a right front and left front front end setting. It's like caster can be explained, I guess, more like a bicycle.
Okay.
When you get on a bicycle, look at it like this: the bicycle. If you turn the front wheel around backwards, you can't ride a bicycle.
Okay.
Turn it all the way around backwards, it just flops. It won't work. Looking at it from the sky, look straight down at the bicycle.
I'm looking down.
All right, the front pivot of the wheel is at one spot along the perimeter of the axis of the bicycle, right? All right, where is the pivot point of the front axle? It's back from that. In other words, you know where your steering wheel is on the bicycle?
Yeah, you got wheel in front of it and wheel behind it.
Yeah, well, you got the front wheel and where it spins, where it hooks up.
Yeah.
Then up here is the pivot point where you turn the wheel.
Right.
Okay, and the thing is angled like this. It doesn't go straight down over the steering wheel or the handlebars. The handlebars of a bicycle, the shaft comes out of the handlebar and goes down.
Yeah.
Okay. If you imagine that handle going straight down, straight over top of the wheel, with the wheel pivoting right there,
yeah,
you couldn't ride it.
Okay.
You would just do all this crazy stuff. That wheel is spinning out here. The pivot point of the wheel is out in front of the pivot point up here. Caster in a race car is basically the same thing. Caster, right front or left front. You got an upper ball joint and a lower ball joint that connects, that the spindle hooks to, that the wheel goes on, that the tire goes on.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
The upper A-frame ball joint location compared with the lower A-frame ball joint location.
Okay. That's the measurement of caster?
When you bring the upper ball joint back in relation
like that
to the lower ball joint, that's positive caster.
Okay.
If you take it forward of the lower control arm, that's negative caster.
Okay.
Okay.
And what's that do for me?
Well, it makes the car. It makes when you let go of the wheel. If you have the relationship between the right and left different. In other words, if
Right,
you have
so
three,
you were like this.
if you have 3 degrees of positive caster on the right wheel, 3 degrees of positive on the left wheel, you let go of the steering wheel going down the road, it goes straight.
Okay.
If you stagger the caster from one side to the other, the car will pull that way. Typically in a race car, you would put maybe 4 degrees of positive caster in the right and maybe say 2 degrees of positive in the left.
Right.
So when you let go of the steering wheel, it pulls to the left.
Do you use caster at all on a road course, or do you want them just to match up?
No, you don't split the caster. You still use caster, but not split,
it
not to
matches.
pull. Right.
Well, that makes sense.
Well, it goes back to the days before power steering. Okay, when these cars were beasts to drive, you would always run maybe 4 degrees of split. You'd put a ton of split in your front wheel, so when you let go of the steering wheel, it just snapped to the left. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you didn't kill the driver to really have to physically pull it down. When power steering came along and Jeff Bodine came along, a lot of that split started going away. We just started using more positive caster, which made us use less static camber.
We're going to get to camber. Don't be bringing camber, and we're going to get to camber.
Well, it all interrelates, man. The more positive caster you got, if you got, say, 0 camber, and you say you've got 10 degrees of positive caster, when you turn the wheel to turn the right front wheel to the left, all of a sudden you start gaining a lot of camber. Okay? With me?
I'm with you, but I don't want to get too far into camber now.
Power steering changed a lot about camber and caster settings.
All
Of course,
right.
a lot of the new guys now don't know that, but it did.
Right. Well, we'll talk about camber next time. That's Rick Mast. I'm Buzz Cutler. This has been Racing Basics with Rick Mast, the sage of all things NASCAR. Huh?
Hard to keep it basic, man.
Well, it's because this
I'm
is a
into it, dude.
complicated
I'm
machine.
into
It's a
it, dude.
complicated machine.
If it wasn't, it wouldn't be that hard.
Rowdy.com. Say it like it is.
Say what like it is?
Rowdy.com.